Alrighty, yesterday your DMR was reviewing our skills that we have most recently completed in mathematics to keep them fresh on your brains. Let's take a look. Use the graph below to answer this question. This graph will remain consistent and the same over the next few days, but the question has changed. How many blue Ultimate t-shirts were sold? I'm going to take a look at blue. I'm going to take a look at the Ultimate column. Blue Ultimate has one t-shirt picture. Down here, my key or scale tells me that one t-shirt picture is equal to 10 t-shirts. So 10 should be your correct answer. Questions on that one? Okie doke. Next up, choose all that are correct. Notice that all equals 4. Okay, 4 points here. Which of these shapes is a parallelogram? Parallelogram means all of the pairs are parallel to each other and will never touch. Okay, so parallelograms appear on A. Our left and our right are parallel. And then this left and right, that wasn't a very good description because they both have the same. Those two are parallel. So A is a parallelogram. On D, this side of the square and this side of the square are parallel. And there is another pair here. D is a parallelogram. On F, we see the top and the bottom of the rectangle are parallel. We see the left and the right of the rectangle are parallel. And on G, we see this top and bottom are parallel. We see this left and right are parallel. Those are your 4 answers. On B, B is not a parallelogram because if you extend the bottom line and the top line together, they will cross right here. C is not a parallelogram because again, if I extend out these line segments, boom, they will touch each other right there. And on E, again, if I extend these line segments, boom, they will intersect right there. So B, C, and E are not parallelograms because their pairs will intersect. 3, Jan jogged for 60 minutes on Friday. Dino jogged for 12 minutes fewer than Jan. Both friends swam for 40 minutes each week. How many minutes did Dino jog on Friday? Okay, so let's take a look here. Our question is about jogging. Jogging. Here's information about jogging. Here's information about jogging. Swimming is not involved in our question. So this is a piece of information that we do not need. It says that Jan jogged for 60 minutes and Dino jogged for 12 minutes fewer. Fewer means less, so I am going to subtract. 0 subtract 2 is impossible, so I'm going to regroup into 5 tens and 10 ones. 10 subtract 2 is equivalent to 8. 5 tens subtract 1 10 is equivalent to 4 tens. So our correct answer is 48 minutes. Tim, let's get you on camera, please. Read the scale to determine the weight of the object or objects. This is in pounds. We start at 1, we go around the face of our scale. Our arrow is pointing to the 10. So our correct answer is 10 pounds. Questions on that one? Okay. Find the value of the variable. Okay, remember our variable, we talked about this yesterday. You guys are used to seeing it as a box, a line, or a question mark. Now we're just going to start using letters, okay? So what times 2 is equal to 12? Well, I know how to count by 2s. Let's see how many 2s I count by in order to get to 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 6. I counted by 2 6 times. So x equals 6. That's all that variable represents. What is missing? Questions on that? Okay. Final one, measurement. We're going to use that pattern. I've still got my trusty dusty notebook. We are going to measure how long is the object in inches. Well, this object is 1 full inch, 2 full inches, and it's not to 3. So we're going to get rid of that 3 answer. We're going to get rid of that 3/4 answer because it's got at least 2 inches. I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of 2 inches plain because I can see that it is longer than 2 inches only. Now my job is to look at the longer of my lines here. We've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So my correct answer is 2 3/4 inch. Questions on that? All right. This is your DMR. Your new DMR will unlock to you today at 12:15 with the same skills on them. All right, y'all. Looking at your multiplication work from yesterday, we did pretty well, okay? One thing that we need to get a little bit better at is making sure we are writing the equation instead of just the answer. Okay, writing down that full equation so that your brain has a context for what you're solving and what the problem represents. Okay, today we're going to yawn. And after we yawn, we're going to take a look at Little Red Riding Hood, Division in Real World. Okay. On your activities tab, remember I've pinned that Mint Mobile redesign to the top, so scroll down and it'll be the next activity. Little Red Riding Hood, Division in Real World. So guess what kind of problems we're going to be solving today? Thank you, Bella. Division, you're correct. I saw your mouth. Alrighty, add our response. You know that we have been working with word problems in a real world context, and we are going to take a look at division word problems specifically today. Okay, division word problems. Little Red Riding Hood's ninja skills have finally scared that big bad wolf into not eating people. Help the wolf learn to share food evenly to keep Granny alive. So we are dividing some food up today, okay? Now, to remember what our division is going to be, let's review some strategies. We know that division is equally sharing a set amount of objects. Let's quickly review what that looks like. If I can remember how to share my sound, there we go, with this video.
Division. Division as equal sharing. Children, in today's topic, we learned that division is nothing but equal sharing. Equal sharing. When something is shared or distributed equally, it is called equal sharing. Now, we find the relation between division and equal sharing. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Sonu has 5 friends. He has 15 balloons. He wants to share them equally with his friends. How many balloons each friend would get? To share the 15 balloons among his 5 friends equally, step 1. he gives one balloon to each of his friends. Now 10 balloons are left with him. Step 2. He gives one more balloon to each of them. Now 5 balloons are still left with Sonu. Step 3. He again gives one more balloon to each of his 5 friends. Step 4. Now 0 balloons are left with him. Thus, we can say that 15 balloons have been shared equally among 5 friends by giving 3 balloons to each one of them. To share equally, actually what we do is division. Hence, equal sharing is nothing but division. This means 15 divided by 5 equals to 3. It can also be written as 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. Divided by stands for divided by.
All right, so division, sharing equally, going between a set number of people or an amount and putting the same number of objects into that group or those people. We also know that division is the inverse of multiplication. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through this with some visuals rather than watching. So we know that division and multiplication work together, right? Take a look at this example. We have 3 groups of apples. The groups are 2. So in multiplication, this would be 3 times 2 equals 6. In division, we're splitting up these apples. We started with 6 apples. We made 3 groups. There were 2 apples in each group. Same thing can be found with these pens. There are 2 lots of 4 pens. Here's 4 and here's 4. There's a total of 8 pens. In multiplication, that's going to be 2 times 4 equals 8. In division, there are 8 pens. We're going to share them between 2 teachers, and each teacher gets 4. So those numbers are connected through fact families, okay? That's something that we are familiar with. More examples here. We've got 4 lots of 3 birds, 12 birds altogether. So Jalen, who's going to turn off the TV, 4 times 3 is equal to 12. Then we can also do 12 birds divided into 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Puts 3 birds in each group. Fact families. So the more you know your multiplication symbol or facts, the better you're going to know your division facts. They work together. Any questions on our division review so far? Okay, let's take a look at slide 3 and get our story for some context. Here is what we will be working with on division today. Little Red Riding Hood. Every Thursday, Little Red Riding Hood went to visit her granny on the other side of the forest. The wolf who lived in the forest didn't dare approach her because Little Red took karate classes every week. Little Red is not someone to bother, the wolf said to himself. One cold, crisp day, the wolf's stomach was growling with hunger, and he decided to take a chance. The wolf made a plan. He knew where Little Red's granny lived. It was Thursday, and the wolf was so hungry that he couldn't stop himself. Granny would fill half his stomach until the main meal, Little Red, arrived. The wolf knocked on Granny's door, just the way he had seen Little Red do. It's me, Little Red, said the wolf in a high voice. Pull the latch and come in, answered Granny in a tiny voice, for she was resting by the fire. She had jogged a bit too far the day before. The wolf let himself in and was about to gobble up Granny when there was a knock at the door. He threw Granny into the closet upside down in the dirty clothes bin. Then the wolf put on Granny's flowered nightgown and fuzzy slippers. He felt pretty foolish, but he was very hungry. After hopping into bed, the wolf said in a tiny voice, "Come in." Little Red had brought her dog and a friend to visit Granny. They entered the house and approached the bed. "My, what big eyes you have, Granny," said Little Red. "The better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. Little Red mentioned Granny's big ears and nose, and finally her mouth. "What big teeth you have, Granny." "The better to eat you with, my dear," said the wolf. He leaped out of bed and jumped toward Little Red and her friend, who both took karate poses. "Let's be reasonable," Little Red said to the wolf. "The sound of your stomach growling makes me think you're very hungry, and I have a basket of goodies. If you tell me where Granny is, we can share the goodies. I have 12 pears, 16 cookies, 8 little cakes, and 24 dried apple slices." The wolf tried to work out a different deal in which he got half and everyone else shared the other half, but Little Red stood her ground. Meanwhile, Granny had climbed out of the dirty clothes bin and was dressed in her sweatsuit. Everyone sat down at the table and divided the goodies. The wolf talked seriously about changing his ways. Then a hunter came by, and all the goodies were gone. But upon hearing the wolf's story, the hunter divided 25 beef jerky strips among 5 of them: Granny, Little Red, her friend, the wolf, and himself. The dog had his own treats. In the end, the wolf worked hard to change his ways. He visited Granny and Little Red every Thursday. He shared Red Riding Hood's goodies, and Granny made him a dumpling soup and tea to calm his nerves. A full stomach turns a very hungry wolf into a very nice wolf, Granny always said. All right, and there is our fractured fairy tale. Not what you would normally hear as Little Red Riding Hood, but a bit of a change. Okay, let's hop to slide 4, please. Here we go. Read the highlighted selection of text. Answer the question below. Here's our question. Little Red had these goodies in her basket. The goodies were divided equally among the 4 main characters in the story: Little Red, her friend, Granny, and the wolf. How much did each character get? Okay, so let's take a look. Remember, this comes from the part of our story where the sound of her stomach was making the Little Red think that Wolf was very hungry. He had a basket of goodies, and then we see the amount that was listed: 12 pears, 16 cookies, 8 cakes, and 24 dried apple slices. Okay, let's start out with the information that we know. Let's look at our pears. Pears right here is 12. So let's record 12 pears. Oops, my bad, not on your answer line. 12 pears, and we're going to divide that by a number. Let's look at the number of cookies. We've got 16 cookies. Let's start up that division sentence. 16 cookies divided by, and let's look at our little cakes. Little cakes, we had 8 of them. So let's record our division equation. 8 divided by, and then our dried apple slices, there were 24. So let's start our division sentence there, 24. Okay. Now, let's read this problem again, and I want you to get ready to hold up with your fingers. The goodies were divided equally among the 4 main characters in the story: Little Red, her friend, Granny, and the wolf. What are we dividing the pears by? Fingers. Good. 4. What are we dividing the cookies by? 4. Some of you are picking up on a pattern. What are we dividing the cakes by? 4. Braden is so quick with it. And what are we dividing our apples by? No, Braden, it's 7. Duh. Ha 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 ha. Just kidding. You're right. It's 4. 24 divided by 4 is again correct. We are dividing by 4 every time because that is the number of people that are in the story that are sharing this amount of food. Okay. All right. So since we're dividing by 4, in my workspace, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 4 groups. I'm going to create groups as little squares. Go ahead and do the same thing. You can draw your squares or you can make them in shapes like I am. Don't care either way. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. There's my groups. I'm going to use these same groups for every single equation. Okay. I've got 12 pairs. Let's go ahead and divide 12 pairs by sharing between each person. 1 for Little Red, 1 for her friend, 1 for Granny, 1 for the wolf. We're at 4 right now. We're going to give 1 to each person again. 5, 6, 7, 8. I've given out 8 pairs. I'm writing, you're writing. I'm pausing in between to give you some time to get caught up. We're at 8 pairs. We got to get to 12. So we're at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there it is. So now we've got to count how many pairs did each person get. Well, Little Red got 3. Her friend got 3. Granny got 3. The wolf got 3. So 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. Each character got 3 pairs. Questions on that one? Okay. I am going to send you into a breakout room with 2 partners. So there are going to be 3 of you. Each partner is going to share their screen and teach one of the equations. Okay. So if I am a partner, I might say, hey guys, I'm going to do the cookies and I'm going to share my screen for the cookies. Okay. Then if Josh is my partner, Josh is going to say, ooh, I want to do the cakes. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Josh is going to share his screen for the cakes. And then finally, Jalen is our 3rd partner and he says, I want to do the dried apple slices. So Jalen is going to do the dried apple slices. Okay. Any questions about what you're going to do? Okay, so each person is sharing their screen. I will be popping into breakout rooms to listen to your teaching. I am not there to talk. I am there to watch. Okay. All right. Screen sharing is on. Here you go, friends. Right. Okay, here are your correct answers. This is what you should have found for each equation. For the cookies, 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4 cookies per group. Cakes, 8 cakes divided by 4 people is equal to 2 cakes per person. And dried apple slices, there were 24 divided by 4 people gives you 6 slices per person. Any questions on those? Okay, let's take a look at slide 5, please. Slide 5, read the highlighted section of text, answer the questions below. Here we go. Then a hunter came by, all the goodies were gone. But upon hearing the wolf's story, the hunter divided 25 beef jerky strips into or among the 5 friends? Granny, Little Red, her friend, the wolf, and himself, because the dog had his own treats. Our question is, the hunter divides 25 beef jerky strips among 5 friends. How many beef jerky strips did each of them get? Okay, so let's take a look here. Our answer is going to have our equation. 25 beef jerky strips divided by 5 people is equal to variable, question mark. We don't know. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Workspace. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create groups. The reason I like to create groups with my shapes tool is so on equations where there's more than one problem, I don't have to redraw my groups the whole time. I've already got them set. So that's why I do this. 2, go ahead and draw yourself 5 groups, however you'd like to do it. 4 and 5, and I'll scoot these guys over. So there's the 5 people. We've got the hunter, we've got Little Red, we've got her friend, we've got Granny, we've got the wolf. I've got to get to 25, so I'm going to get my beef jerky strips and I'm going to place 1 beef jerky strip in each person's hand until I get to 25. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got to get to 25, so I'm going to add some more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm still not at 25. I'm going to add another. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm still not at 25. I'm going to keep passing them out. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm still not at 25. I'm going to keep passing them out. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There we go. I'm at 25. Question is, how many did each of them get? Well, this one got 5. This person got 5. This person got 5. This person got 5. This person got 5. So our variable is equal to 5 beef jerky strips. No purple unicorns flying through space, friends. Okay. I can see on your screens you're still working, so I'll give you a moment. Yes, Levin.
Do we have to use our workspace?
Yes. I am assessing your strategies and what you know. Now, if you're using your workspace, like if you're in your head, you've got it memorized, here's how you can show me that. I know that 25 divided by 5 is equal to 5 times 5. So the answer is 5. I'm fine if you just write your fact families too. Okay? Either way is fine with me, but I want some form of work. Either your fact families, an equal groups picture, a tally chart, something to show your work. Okay? Top to slide 6. This is the last one we're going to do together. I want you to pay careful attention to this one because it is worded in a way that makes you have to count. That'll make sense here in a minute. Let's read the highlighted section of text. He visited Granny, Little Red, and Little Red every Thursday. He shared Red Riding Hood's goodies, and Granny made him dumpling soup and tea to calm his nerves. A full stomach turns a very hungry wolf into a nice wolf, Granny always said. Granny always puts 15 dumplings in her soup. If Granny, put a dot on Granny. Little Red, put a dot on Little Red. And the wolf, put a dot on the wolf. All got the same number of dumplings. How many dumplings did each one get? Well, let's write our equation. Our equation is equal to 15 dumplings, that's what we're starting with, divided by the number of people. How many people are sharing those 15 dumplings? Show me with your fingers. 11 says 3, everybody else says nothing. How many people are in that problem? Braden says 3, Josh says 3, Aiden G says 5, Leah says 3, Daniel says 1, or Daniel's touching a screen, I can't tell. Bella says 3. Okay, let's take a look. Let's count the people. Granny, Little Red, Wolf. How many people are there? Or animals too, I guess. 3. There are 3 characters. So we are dividing our dumplings by 3. Okay? Sometimes the word problems won't tell you a number. They'll give you names or another form of information, and you've got to figure out what that means. Okay? Granny, Little Red, and Wolf are 3 characters. All right, so now we're going to create a workspace. So let's do it this way this time, since Levin asked a great question, and I want to show you multiple ways. 15 divided by 3. I know that 15 and 3 are in a fact family with a missing number. What number is missing is our question. I know that multiplication is the opposite of division. So I can count by 3s until I get to 15. So let's do that. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5 times. Okay? So I know that 15, 3, and 5 are in a fact family. So each person gets 5 dumplings. Okay? So either way, we showed our strategy with group pictures. You can show it with your fact family number sentences as well, if you have those memorized. If you don't have those memorized, this is how you get them memorized, through practice. Okay? Questions on this? Yes, Levin.
From like wouldn't 3 like then other assignments like at the beginning, wouldn't the 3 divided by 15 would be 5 too?
15 divided by 3 would be 5. 3 divided by 15 would not. So 3 divided by 15 would mean if I have 3 pieces of candy and I got to give them to 15 people, how many pieces of candy would they get?
0.
Yeah, they'd get fractions. They'd get like a little sliver of a piece of candy. So those are not the same thing. And
They would get the wrapper.
yes, they get the wrapper. In division, our largest number has to come first in order to get a whole number answer. Okay. All right. Your independent work today is slide 7, which is one word problem, slide 8, which is one word problem, and some fact fluency on slides 9 and 10. Just getting some quick practice with your division skills. Okay. So you have 2 word problems and you have 2 fact fluencies, just some drill and kill. Okay. Any questions about your task today? All right. I will be sending back your multiplication with some feedback. So if you finish your division early, please feel free to go back and revise your multiplication. On Friday, you will be having a test over word problems in general. So the feedback that I'm giving you over the next few days can help you study and do better on that test on Friday. Okay? All right. And